Welcome to this episode of Small Bike Stuff, and finally, after owning this bike for several years now, this is my own bike and we're going to be showcasing it on Small Bike Stuff. Welcome to my 2015 Honda Wave 125i. Now this bike has a long story, but I'll try to cut it short. I was in Southeast Asia trying to buy one of these bikes. I'm thinking of bringing one of these to New Zealand one day. This is a Honda Wave 125, which is arguably the Toyota Corolla of Southeast Asia. I got a message from someone in New Zealand saying that one of these was for sale in New Zealand, the only one I'd ever seen. So I quickly called them up from Southeast Asia and bought it over the phone, and now it's mine. I went through a long and painful process to get it legal, and in that process I thankfully just went in before a new rule was made about ABS, which means this bike wouldn't have been able to be road legal at all. And yeah, it's had a lot of work done to it. It's now 143cc, so let's get stuck into it. This is my Honda Wave 125i. Here's the engine, which is kind of hidden, but you can kind of see it under there as well. And you see an extra addition there, that's my oil cooler. So this Honda Wave 125i is a semi-automatic 4-speed. It's the same engine that you see in the Groms. It's the same engine that you see in the Monkeys. It's the same engine that you see in the Supercarb 125s. It's the same engine that you see in the Dax 125s. However, they all have little differences around the gearing. So this is a 4-speed semi-automatic. Push down on the front and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're stopped in 4th gear, push down one more time, it goes back to neutral. So you've got a revolving semi-automatic 4-speed, and this originally was a 125cc and it's fuel injected. So now, as you can see, there's a few differences there. There's a large intake pipe that goes up to the original airbox. We'll talk about that more in modifications, but yeah, we've got 143cc with an oil cooler. We've got a bigger head with bigger valves. I believe it's 28mm inlet, 24mm exhaust, opposed to stock, which is like 23, 21, something smaller. And yeah, 56mm piston is what we're looking at here. So it goes really well. This thing here gives it all the pep that you'd ever need. And one thing with this engine setup is that it's not necessarily designed, I haven't designed it with the gearing and things, to give me a massive top speed. It's more that I can carry 2 people at 100 kilometers an hour now, as opposed to 1 person at 90. It does a lot better with its acceleration and its top speed. Wheels, so this is 17 front and 17 rear. We've got a disc on the front and drum on the rear. This 17-inch wheel here is the same as the rear. It's a Racing Boy tri-spoke. So I don't know if you can see the Racing Boy logo quite here, but yeah, this tri-spoke, there it is hiding down in there, Racing Boy, kind of, there we go. It's 70, 90, 17. So this is a Michelin City Pro, and they're really nice all-rounder tyres for the city. Plenty of grip for winter in New Zealand. We don't really get snow or ice in my city. On the rear, it's running a 275/17 because I couldn't get any 80, 90 17s. They weren't in stock. So it's got a higher profile than I would like, therefore standing the bike up a bit more, but it's okay. It does the job. They're tubeless rims, but I'm actually running a tube because one of these tyres is a tube type tyre, which is this one here. Got our high-low horn, turn signal, and a cancel. You've got your speedometer here with a gear indication. So as you can see, that's neutral. And we've also got first. Probably won't be able to change to second because we're sitting stationary. We'll have to spin the rear wheel. 14,294 kilometers on the clock. The modification was done probably about 1,200 kilometers ago. And it's got a gear indicator, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and neutral as well. Once again, this will change to neutral from 4th if you're stopped, and push down one more time. On the right side here, we've just got our electric start, front brake, and the master cylinder for the brake's actually hidden under the plastics as well. Other controls on this thing here, we've got our shifter. So you've got down on the front to change up, so you've got 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then down on the rear to change back down, so 4, 3, 2, 1. And yeah, that's about it. Semi-automatic, no clutch. Here we've got our rear brake, which is the same as most bikes, just chilling out there at the front, right in front of the foot peg. Time to get into this extensive list of modifications. I guess we should start with the engine first. So this has got a high-speed big bore kit. I'll try to overlay photos and videos of that here. It's 143cc. It came with the head. The head has a aftermarket cam in it with a higher lift. And I've also installed this Morin high performance, supposedly, oil cooler, which, because this engine didn't have anywhere to take oil from the side cover here, and it didn't have anywhere to take oil from the barrel, I have had to then take it with this questionable system from Morin that makes a longer head stud, which I've had to replace, and has a little kind of etch into it that lets oil come through and flow through into here, fill up this oil cooler and go through to the other side. It seems to throw my engine temps down, but it's definitely not as effective as a nice oil cooler would be with, say, a Katako side cover. But I did it just for the purpose of seeing if it would work, and it has worked. Yeah, this thing's putting out about 17 horsepower as opposed to the 8.9 or 9 horsepower it used to put out stock. So not quite doubled, but it's done pretty well. Been fully dyno tuned with a full stand next ECU, which sits under the seat here. If we open the seat, which is operated by the key, we've got 18 litres of under-seat storage, and the full stand next ECU's in the back there. So undo 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, and you can pull this out. And you've also got your fuel hose from your fuel pump, which is sitting here in the tank. You can hear this probably. That's the fuel pump turning on and priming when the bike goes. So yeah, fully fuel injected. The throttle body in there, which is hard to see, is much bigger. I can't remember how much bigger it is, but it's bigger, and it's got a straight pipe running up into the original air filter with a Hurricane air filter, which is a lot more high flow. Shocks, so we've got wires. This is the third set of shocks I've had on this thing. Had stock, which are fine. Didn't have any problems, but I wanted to take heavier loads, as in myself, and I weigh a bit more than the intended use case for these bikes. So yeah, I've got YSS Hummer shocks, which are designed for up to, I think, 180, 200 kilograms. Yeah, I've got it set on a much lower setting, but these things here are really, really nice, and they, you know, they're coming up with a little bit of surface rust on the bits that are touching now, but that's just through lack of care and washing from me after I've been in long rides. This pipe is a new Lamluka pipe. Nu is the person, Lamluka is the area in Bangkok, or Lamluka, I'm not sure how to say it. And it does say there, made in Thailand, and then if we go all the way around a bit further, which you kind of can't see, it says use only in a race. They put that on their pipes because all aftermarket pipes in Thailand are illegal. You are not allowed them. Yeah, they're good pipes. It was cheap. It was only like 200 New Zealand dollars, but you'll hear it soon. It does sound really good, but it sounds like one of the spot welds on the inside of the baffle has actually come loose now after 2-3 years of really hard use. So I'm happy with it, but yeah, definitely needs a little bit of changing. This front basket, it's not actually a modification, but they come with, you can buy this metal bracket under here, which is used to bolt the basket to, which is strengthened. And so, yeah, I've had all sorts in here, and I really, really like it. I'll probably get a new Honda basket soon just because they're so good. I'm looking for a knee basket as well, which bolts onto here. They use in Malaysia because Malaysia made these same models. This one's from Thailand. It would have been super cool to have that by now, but I don't. So we'll throw this back down. Last modification was probably, which actually it came with, is this here. It's an aftermarket spine rack, which you can affix things to if you want to. I used to have heated grips on this bike, and I used to have the heated grips mounted with a controller mounted down here. That's about it. The Honda Wave is just a really cool bike that came out in 1995. It was the third or the second follow-on from the Honda Cub. Firstly, you had the Honda Dream that came out as a 90, I believe, first, and then a 100cc, and then came out as a 110 and a 125. They made a Honda Nice, which was a 100cc or 110cc manual kind of version of the Underbone Wave, and then eventually this turned into a 125. I think in the late 90s or the early 2000s, this specific edition of the 125 came out in 2012 through to 2017. So that's this shape here, and it's quite wide from the back. They actually call it the Honda Wave Whale. Yeah, Honda Wave Whale, or Plawan as they like to call it. The reason it's wider is because it has that underseat storage. The first fuel injected bikes were 2007 or 2008. So the fuel injection's been around for a while. Super reliable, does its job. I guess what we need to do is start this thing up now. All right, best thing about this is genuinely is the electric start. The kick works too, but we turn this on, fuel injector noises, and that's it. As you can hear, there's a little bit of a tinny kind of rattle, and that is, yeah, in my opinion, something inside that pipe's let go after a lot of years of really hard use. Yeah, it hasn't had an easy life with me, but sounds good. It does have a rev limit at 10,000 RPM, so yeah, it sounds good. Front of the bike sounds like this. Just your average kind of rattly Honda that isn't actually that rattly, they just sound like that. As you can hear, this thing's pretty kind of raspy and raw and aggressive, especially in the lower RPM. You know, from 2,000-3,000 RPM up is working mint. So those lower couple of thousand RPM can be a bit hit and miss at times, but once it's warm, it's generally happy. So I thought this would be a nice view. Why not? Yeah, so 118.2. Not bad. That's quicker than I thought it was. Quicker than I thought I was going. So, yeah, I mean, that's a lot better than stock, because this can hold that on the flat with a headwind. A stock bike, you're doing like 95 to 100 with a headwind on the flat. Downhill on my stock bike, I could do about 112, 114 max. So, my previous downhill top speed in stock form is only 4 kilometers less than my now top speed on the flat with a headwind, if that makes sense. So it's definitely a lot more better, a lot more power is what I was trying to say. And yeah, I guess that's something pretty interesting for you. Definitely was 99 kilometers per hour. So yeah, this thing top speed can do 99 kilometers per hour.